What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, JenksTCG. Today we're going to be looking at Eternatus VMAX, the brand new Mega Ray Pokemon in Standard. This is the Ultra Prism through Darkness Ablaze format, going to be that pre-rotation format. And yeah, let's hop into it. So the first card that we're going to be taking a look at is Eternatus V. It's a 220 HP basic, weak to fighting, 2 retreat. It has Power Excel for 1 colorless. It does 30 damage, and then you can attach a Dark Energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. So very nice Darkness Acceleration going on. Overall, a very good attack if it's that early game. Then it has Dynamax Cannon for a 4 attack cost, 1 dark, 3 colorless. A bit of a hefty attack cost for this deck, but it's a pretty good attack. It does 120, and then if your opponent's active as a VMAX, it does another 120. So it's not necessarily going to knock out any other VMAXs, but it's a solid chunk of damage if you need something to, hit hard when you don't have a VMAX in play. So that's that for the basic. We're not going to be using that card too much, but Eternatus VMAX, on the other hand, this is the big boy. 340 HP. Going to be a behemoth to knock out. It has the ability Infinity Zone, and it says if all your Pokemon in play are dark, so 6 dark Pokemon in play, you may now have up to 8 dark Pokemon on your bench, and you can't play any other type of Pokemon. When this ability no longer works, discard your benched Pokemon until there are 5. So basically, this kind of gives you a Skyfield rule as long as all your Pokemon in play are dark, which this deck only plays dark Pokemon, so this is going to be pretty important. And Infinity Zone pairs well with Dread End, the attack for a dark and a colorless. It does 30 per dark Pokemon in play. So it's going to have that cap of 270 damage because you can have 8 benched dark Pokemon and 1 dark Pokemon in the active, being the Eternatus VMAX if you're attacking with it. And it does a whopping 270. So huge damage output for just 2 energies, and that Infinity Zone is going to be pretty powerful in order to power that up. 3 retreat cost, it's a pretty big boy, fighting resistance as well. So overall, this is kind of the hyped card of the set, the deck that people expect to be tier 1. I think it's a pretty good card and a pretty good deck overall. So I definitely can see this being one of the better decks going into the new formats. Then we have Crobat V, our setup Pokemon, and if you watch the top 10 list, this was our #1 card on the list. Has that ability Night Assist, very similar to Shaman EX's setup. When you bench it, you can drop to 6, but the caveat is you can only do it once per turn. So that's Crobat V, and then this won't be necessary, but we have Poison Fang 70, and the opponent's active is now poisoned, 180 HP, so it's pretty difficult to knock out compared to something like a Dedenne. But yeah, just continuing along the line of the dark Pokemon, we have Galarian Zigzagoon. You guys all know this card. Headbutt Tantrum. When you bench it, you can put a damage counter anywhere on your opponent's board. And we do play Scoop Up Nets in the deck, so you can use Galarian Zigzagoon over and over again, rack up those damage counters, and then Dread End paired with Zigzagoons can do a lot more than just 270 damage. So dark type as well works very well with the synergy of benching all dark Pokemon and then swinging super hard. Next slide for Pokemon, we got 2 Sneasels and 1 Weavile. This is kind of the tech that I've come up with, and this is very good in the mirror. If we take a look at all these other Pokemon that is pretty much staple in the mirror match, besides the Eternatus V, Eternatus VMAX, Crobat V, and Zigzagoon all have abilities. So if your opponent gets a little feisty with their abilities, you can have this Weavile come in and take some big one-shots on whatever it might be. The Eternatus VMAX is going to be a little difficult to KO, but when paired with a boss's order or something, it can be pretty easy to get some free knockouts on Crobats and then shove a 1 prize attacker in the active. And something like Hoopa, which we do play 1 of, cannot do that. We do play the 1 Hoopa, and oh, I should probably go over the Weavile. Weavile has Evil Admonition, 50 per ability in play, so that's why it's pretty good against Eternatus VMAX, and then any other decks that have high abilities. Weavile's been a pretty good card throughout time, so I figured might as well throw it in. It's a dark Pokemon, so we have 2 Sneasels, so we can just have that extra bench if the Weavile isn't necessary. And Weavile has Sneaky Smash. If you go second and this is your first turn, you can discard an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon, so its attack is not that bad. And then we do play 1 Hoopa. This is just to have another 1 prize attacker. It's another dark Pokemon, and it can knock out Jirachis early on or anything like that. It has Assault Gate 90, and if the Pokemon was not moved from the bench to the active, it doesn't do anything, so it's very similar to Zapdos. And yeah, also was covered in the top 10 list. Just another 1 prize attacker, another dark Pokemon. Then we have our supporters. We have 4 Research, just want to max that draw. Combined with Crobat, this deck's going to be able to draw a ton. We have 3 Marnie for some hand disruption, 3 bosses orders for big gust turns, because we're probably going to be wanting to get around any 1 prize attackers our opponent throws at us, or 2 prize attackers to get at those 3 prize attackers so that we have a better trade. And then 2 Piers. This is a new card from the new set. Search your deck for a dark Pokemon and 1 energy and put them into your hand. So this is just going to improve our consistency. It's not necessarily the thing we want to use all the time. Something interesting to note though, Piers will grab Weavile energy and allow you to attack with a Sneasel that's been benched for a turn. So it's a pretty good way to just kind of bring out that counter 1 prize attacker and then use it. And overall, I thought that the synergy that I had with the Weavile was worth including, and it's just a consistency thing. If you miss an energy or you miss the Eternatus VMAX, that you can go ahead and grab it. Then for some of our items, we have 4 Quick Ball, 4 Great Ball, and 3 Pokemon Communication. This is just going to be our consistency engine. In addition to Piers, we just want to be able to draw as many Pokemon as we can, because similar to Mega Rayquaza in the 2016-2015 formats, you just want to be able to bench all these Pokemon and hit huge numbers. So that's why we play the full count, and Eternatus VMAX is a stage 1 technically, or a VMAX, so it's not basic. We do need some cards to go ahead and find it. That's why we have the 4 Great Ball, 3 Calms, and we have the Sneasel and the Weavile line. So just more things to grab those bigger Pokemon, or sorry, stage 1-ish Pokemon. Then we have 4 Scoop Up Nets. This is going to go with our Zigzagoons so that we can just keep slamming those down, and it can also pair pretty well with the Hoopa if we want to use that over and over again. But mainly for those Zigzagoons, going to give us that free pivot if we start a Zigzagoon or anything like that. So yeah, that's our items. Then we have 2 Switch. We only play 2 Switch because we have some hide energies that are going to give us some free retreat. But other than that, this Switch count can be upped, and I don't mind that because it's always nice to have more pivot. With the 4 Scoop Up Nets, it's not 100% sure without testing what the right count is, but I could definitely see the Switch count going up. Then we have 1 Ordinary Rod. This is something I haven't seen a lot of lists being playing. Belelba Bryson Man has been a popular counter card to Eternatus pre-release in people's lists, so if that happens, you need a way to get some stuff back, and I could even see Ordinary Rod getting a 2 of, since we don't have a ton of Pokemon retrieval in the format. This is basically just going to allow you to get some more Pokemon back in the deck and reuse some stuff. This is going to be useful for the Weavile line as well, but since we only play the 1 Weavile, if it gets knocked out, you can bench the 2nd Sneasel, Ordinary Rod, the Weavile back in, and like Piers for it or something. So just allows you to keep using that Weavile over and over again. Rose Tower. Now, I know this seems a little odd to not have copies of Rose in the deck with this card. As I mentioned in the top 10 list, it's kind of a combo package, but I didn't see a whole lot of purpose for the Rose. Discarding your hand is not something we really want to do with this deck, and I'd kind of like the Rose Tower more for a reset stamp protection or like a Marnie protection. So if you play your hand down low, you can have Rose Tower as your stadium, draw back up. It also allows you to have a stadium that's not just black market, so you can counter other stadiums, then throw your black market down into play and try and lock it into play. So I think the Rose Tower is pretty good, and it says once during either player's turn, that player may draw cards from their hand until they have 3 in hand. So basically going to just help you stay in the game if your hand gets too low, similar to like an Oranguru. Then we have 1 copy of Black Market Prism Star. This says when a dark Pokemon, yours or your opponent, that has any dark energy attached to it is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you take, or the opponent takes, or the player takes 1 less prize card. So this is going to be pretty cool. If you can get the black market to stick, it's going to make Weavile and Hoopa take 0 prizes on knockout Crobat, on 1 if it has a dark energy, and Eternatus VMAX only 2. So it's a pretty good card, and I think the Rose Towers complement it nicely because you can kind of throw the towers out there to counter stadiums and throw the black market prism down late game, maybe combine it with a Marnie and hope it sticks for a turn, give yourself some more time because they're taking fewer for ice cards. Then rounding out the list, we have 2 hide energy. This is going to prevent, or this is going to give our dark Pokemon free retreat as long as it's attached to them, and then 7 dark energies just for the ability to attack. And with Piers, we want to have the higher dark count because we can't grab hide energy off of Piers. And yeah, that's going to be the list. The list is in the description if you want to see all laid out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you haven't already, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know if you like the content that I'm producing, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you guys.